All right, guys, what's going on? Welcome in. So, look, I gotta be honest. I'm still recovering from yesterday. Still devastated to say the least. I mean, man, to look as bad as the Jets have looked all season, it's such a horrible product on the football field all year. The blowouts, the ineptitude, the turnovers, everything has been a complete nightmare. For this team to go out there and win a completely meaningless game, it doesn't impact the AFC East, it doesn't impact the AFC conference, it doesn't impact the playoff picture, it doesn't impact the culture. For them to go out and win a meaningless football game, it's a it's a dagger to the heart. Okay, but with that said, there's really nothing we can do as of right now. We don't control our own destiny. Jacksonville is now in the driver's seat for that #1 overall pick, hence Trevor Lawrence. So I figured, you know what, I need to make a video pretty much explaining or really diving in, talking about different paths that the New York Jets can travel down if we do in fact finish with the 2nd overall pick, right? Where do we go from here? Really trying to leave no stone unturned. So with that being said, let's get into it. So the first avenue that the Jets can travel down, assuming they land the 2nd overall pick, is to stay at 2 and to select a quarterback. Okay, Justin Fields, Ohio State, Zach Wilson, BYU, Trey Lance, North Dakota State. Staying at 2, picking a quarterback, fresh start, clean slate. You look at why the Jets are a complete abomination this season. You wonder why this team is such a chore to watch every single Sunday. It's not because CJ Mosley opted out. It's not because we traded Jamal Adams. It's not because of Greg Williams, and it's not because of Frank Bush. The reason why the Jets are absolutely sickening to watch is because the offensive side of the football is completely abysmal. The Jets are 1-13, and it's so embarrassing to say that. They're a 1-13 football club. It's Coach Gase. It's Dowell Loggins. It's the system itself. It's the play calling. It's the injuries. It's the lack of offensive talent on this team. It's Sam Darnold's regression. There's virtually no downfield passing threat. The defensive coordinators don't even have to worry about that. It's the turnovers. The Jets can't even score points, let alone pick up first downs consistently. Okay, so changes definitely need to be made. Okay, so if you're looking at the offseason, new coach, new culture, new coaching staff, new quarterback, I definitely would be interested in something like that. And now if that's the case, all of a sudden Sam Darnold becomes expendable. Joe Douglas could be looking at the situation thinking to himself, you know what? Now, because we're drafting this rookie quarterback, let's take Sam Darnold and trade him to the Saints, trade him to the Panthers, trade him to the Niners or the Bears or whoever it may be. Let's acquire a mid-round pick. Let's acquire another asset while at the same time completely alleviating the problem of having to pay a quarterback big money in just a couple of seasons, because the rookie quarterback coming in, 21 years old, 22 years old, will be coming in on a fresh, cheap 4 to 5 year contract. We wouldn't have to worry about that situation for years. So I'm looking at the situation. I think it checks a lot of boxes, and I think that definitely could be in play for the Jets moving forward. I would definitely be in favor of that. So route number 2 would be to keep the 2nd overall pick, but pass on a quarterback, pass on Fields, pass on Wilson and Lance, and go BPA, right? The name that everybody throws out there as like a top 3, top 5 pick is Penei Sewell, the tackle from Oregon. Yeah, he's a dominant player for sure. But I think when you're looking at the Jets roster, obviously you're not going to do anything with Mekhi Becton. You need to keep him at left tackle, clearly. And then it kind of shifts your attention over to right tackle. Okay, well, if Sewell's the only guy really worth taking here, is it really worth taking a right tackle at that 2nd overall spot? And then you dive deeper. George Fant's playing pretty solid football this season. I actually like Fant going into next year as that starting right tackle. I think the issue with the Jets offensive line is the interior of the O-line, right? The center play, the guard play. That's where the Jets are having a lot of issues opening up run lanes, for these young RBs. I feel like that's where the problem lies. So then the question becomes, okay, well, if right tackle isn't worth the 2nd overall pick, is there another guy that we can take? Is there a Nick Bosa in this draft, a Joey Bosa, right? Like a dominant edge guy? Is there, like an incredible outside linebacker? And the answer is no. As far as the 2nd overall spot in the draft is concerned, Sewell's really the only guy that I feel like would be in consideration for number 2 if you're going to bypass the quarterback. You're looking at it. Do you really want to go wide receiver with the 2nd overall pick? Do you really want to go cornerback? I feel like that might be a reach. You can trade back to say maybe a pick 7, a pick 8, a pick 9, and go get wide receiver 1. Go get cornerback 1 in this draft. So I'm not sold on the Jets sticking with spot number 2 and then bypassing the quarterback position. So path number 3, trading down in the draft and investing this equity into offensive pieces to help build the team around Sam Darnold. Now, I feel like on paper that makes a lot of sense. Darnold still has potential. He's 23, former 3rd overall pick in the draft just a couple of seasons ago, 3 years ago. And obviously the Jets are completely lackluster as far as talent is concerned on the offensive side of the football. So no matter who's playing quarterback, we're going to need some more weapons for sure. And we're going to need better offensive line play and a better running game. Completely understand that. But I think where it gets a little, like where the gray area begins or where it starts to get a little rocky or muddy is when you're looking at the contract situation. So next season, Sam Darnold obviously will be entering year 4 of his rookie deal. So he would have the 5th year option after that. And then it turns into the franchise tag. And then we have to make a decision. Do we want to pay Sam Darnold, assuming he's the starting quarterback, those big money contracts, right? That we saw Carson Wentz sign, and Stafford, and Matt Ryan, and Jared Goff, all these quarterbacks, Watson, Mahomes. Probably wouldn't get Mahomes type money, but we would have to invest probably a humongous deal into Sam Darnold if he's the future of this team. And are the Jets in a position, like, yes, they have a lot of cap space, I get that, but do they really want to handcuff themselves to Darnold for the long run and paying him, upwards of $25 plus million a season? I think that's a little high for me. I'm not saying Sam Darnold can't get any better. I mean, who knows if that's the case? He could look absolutely amazing next year with the new coach and all that kind of stuff. I just feel like there's too much on the line. It's too risky for me personally. But I completely understand everybody's argument wanting to go that direction. Okay, so option number 4 is where the Jets trade back from spot number 2 to say pick 8, pick 9, pick 10, somewhere in that range, and they still go with the quarterback. And you're thinking to yourself, well, if that's the case, just pick the guy at 2. Why even bother risking it? Well, the Jets could very well find themselves in a situation throughout the course of the draft process where they fall in love with the guy. Let's just, hypothetically speaking here, say it's Zach Wilson. The Jets fall in love with Zach Wilson. The new head coach loves him. Joe Douglas loves him. They want Zach Wilson. But he has a dud. He has a crappy pro day, and he's not going to go top 5. And the Cowboys paid Dak Prescott, and the Bengals aren't taking a quarterback, and the Chargers aren't taking a quarterback, and say Carolina loves themselves some Justin Fields, and they want to move up to spot number 2, and Carolina's sitting at 7. Carolina's sitting at 8. The Jets can easily pick up the phone, trade down to Carolina. Carolina can come up and get their guy. Jets can fall right in that 7 hole, that 8 hole, and pick their guy in Zach Wilson, right? The guy that they had their eye on all along, but who might be the consensus number 3 quarterback on a lot of different teams' boards. Because I have a feeling this draft is going to be similar to 2018, where you're going to have a bunch of different guys with different skill sets, Josh Allen, Baker Mayfield, stuff like that, where all these different teams have their eye on different guys, right? For example, nobody thought Cleveland was going to go Baker Mayfield. In Cleveland's eyes, Mayfield was the quarterback 1. But you talk to a lot of teams out there, and they would say no, it was Sam Darnold, and then you'd have other teams, no, it was Josh Allen. So it could go in a bunch of different ways here. But the Jets very well could do that, so they land their guy in Zach Wilson, and now all of a sudden you have a huge haul of picks from the Carolina Panthers, which would be absolutely unbelievable. So the 5th and final option of this video is where the Jets trade up. Yes, they sit at spot number 2 and they trade up. They give away a king's ransom to the Jacksonville Jaguars. The Jags do their homework on Justin Fields. They do their homework on Lance, on Wilson, whoever it may be, and they fall in love. They fall in love with one of these guys, and they're completely fine moving down one slot. Kind of think of the San Francisco 49ers with the Bears a couple of years ago, 2017, when the Bears gave up all that equity to move up one position to go get their guy, Trubisky at the time. I mean, obviously, I think the asking price is going to be a lot more considering it's the first pick and Trevor Lawrence is coming out. So the Jets would have to give up a humongous, like a treasure chest, essentially, of draft picks, maybe a player or two. Who knows what it might be. But again, if the plan was Trevor Lawrence all along, every single week this year, it was Trevor Lawrence lose the games, Trevor Lawrence lose the games, and now we're going to miss out on that. Joe Douglas traded Jamal Adams for a reason. to get draft capital. He has the excess of picks. There's a lot of young rookie players on this team. Maybe you can flip a couple, a player and a ton of picks to Jacksonville and they move down. Maybe that's just me wishful thinking, but to be honest with you, I think at that point it might be a mistake. I don't want to mortgage the next 5 years, 6 years in giving away all of our draft picks to a team in the Jacksonville Jaguars who go up and get a Trevor Lawrence. Because then all of a sudden Trevor Lawrence could find himself in the same situation that Sam Darnold was in his whole career, where the Jets completely miss on their draft picks and we can't get the guy any sort of weapon. So let me know your thoughts down below in the comment section. So many different scenarios here. This is just me, spitballing here early in the morning, 9:29 a.m., the day after the Jets won their first game of the season. So let me know your thoughts down below in the comment section. Which direction would you feel most comfortable? Again, assuming we get that second overall pick, because there's a very good chance that the Jags win a game. Trust me, if the Jets are 17-point dogs going across the country and they can take down the LA Rams in their house, and they're in the midst of a tight divisional, a tight playoff run for the NFC West crown, and they lose, they stumble against the New York Jets, then of course the Jacksonville Jaguars can beat a team like Chicago. Of course they can beat a team like Indianapolis. Who knows? The Colts might be in the playoffs and they might rest their starters. So who knows? Who knows what's going to happen? I'll leave it there. Let me know your thoughts down below in the comment section regarding any one of these options here. This video is pretty much, again, just me spitballing, me just kind of throwing random ideas out there, things that popped into my head, different options that the Jets might have on draft night if they get that second pick. So I'll leave it there. Let me know your thoughts down below in the comment section, and as always, thanks so much for watching, and go Jets.